advising this news story coming in today. And the gang who carried out a ferocious attack and left a number of men with life-altering injuries have admitted their crime. 5 men were sitting in a car when their vehicle was aggressively rammed by 2 vehicles and gunshots were fired into their vehicle. The group, who had armed themselves with machetes, knives, baseball bats, cricket bats and cricket wickets, were involved in a premeditated violent attack on Reedswood Lane in Walsall at around 11:50 in the night on July the 31st last year, police said. A firearm was discharged 4 times at close range into the vehicle, which resulted in significant and life-threatening injuries to the victims, police said. The men inside the car managed to drive themselves to Walsall Manor Hospital, where they were presented with various severe injuries, including slash and gunshot wounds. All of the men sustained serious life-altering injuries requiring multiple surgeries, and 1 victim was placed in an induced coma due to the severity of their injuries. The suspects were arrested after detectives investigated the case, including trawling through extensive CCTV to identify the suspects and phone tracking to ascertain their movements. And now, 8 men have pleaded guilty to charges including conspiracy to commit GBH and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. The men, who are all from Walsall, appeared at Wolverhampton Crown Court, where they were due to stand trial. Instead, they changed their pleas to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit GBH and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. Those pleading guilty to these charges included Amar Shazad, who's 37, Hazar Ayaz, who's 20, 38-year-old Mohammed Sajid. Others who pled guilty to the charges included Kamran Moore, who's 22, Shazad Mahmood, who's 34, Kurum Sajjad, who's 23, and Wahid Ayub, who's 28. An 8th man, Umar Sadiq, pleaded guilty to assisting an offender. All of the defendants who admitted GBH and possession of a firearm were remanded to appear in custody. Speaking after the case, Detective Inspector Francis Knock from the major crime team who led the investigation said, "We are delighted with the convictions. This was a really shocking outbreak of violence in which weapons are used and firearms are discharged, and victims are left with life-threatening injuries. Officers working extensively on the case to identify the suspects and bring them to custody, and finally, before the courts, they said, we want to send out a clear message that we won't tolerate anybody using weapons on our streets and demonstrate violence, as we've seen in this case. If you behave in this manner, you'll be arrested and charged and brought before the courts. They face many years behind bars when they're brought back to court next month, so they're going to be sentenced in June." Absolute madness on the streets of Walsall. I didn't really think it was that dangerous of a place, but it sounds like it is. A gang of 6 people who were caught on CCTV laughing and reenacting a murder after killing a man in a park have been jailed for life. The gang of 3 men and 3 teenage boys attacked Michael Obasi, who was only 38 years old, as he enjoyed his usual evening walk in Perry Hall Park in Birmingham in March last year. They robbed him of his torch and a gold chain before leaving him for dead with around 100 external injuries. He was later reported missing by his worried family, but his body wasn't found until 2 days later by a dog walker. Manuel Filipacci, who's 21, Ion Morar, who's 20, and Ion Kalin, who's 19, along with 2 15-year-olds and a 14-year-old, were later arrested in Aston after detectives scoured CCTV. Footage showed Filipacci and Morar using bank cards they had stolen from Michael multiple times and buying drinks moments after they attacked him to celebrate. Filipacci, Morar and Kalin were later recorded outside a house in Perry Bar, laughing and chatting animatedly about the attack and reenacting the murder they had just carried out. DNA from 2 of the teenagers was found on Mr. Obasi's t-shirt and rucksack. Items belonging to Mr. Obasi were also found at an address linked to the group, including his torch. He was actually reported missing by his family when he failed to return from his regular walk. A post-mortem examination found he died from multiple injuries following the violent attack. During the police investigation, Filipacci, Morar and Kalin were also identified as being involved in a violent assault, also captured on CCTV at Walsall train station on 15th of January last year. A man was targeted by the group as he walked through the station and was repeatedly punched and kicked. 3 men were charged with the assault, and along with the 3 teenagers, they were also charged with Mr. Obasi's murder. All 6 were found guilty of murder and robbery at Birmingham Crown Court and were jailed for a total of almost 120 years yesterday. Phil Apache got jailed for a minimum of 29 years, Morar got 25 years in jail, and Callan was ordered to serve at least 24 years behind bars. Then come the teenagers. A 17-year-old boy was jailed for a minimum of 15 years, a 16-year-old boy at least 14 years, and a 15-year-old was caged for a minimum of 9 years. Judge Mark Watt told them that they had launched a brutal attack on a defenceless man so they could enrich themselves by significantly less than £500. Mr. Obasi's family said he was a devoted father who doted on his little boy and had a gentle spirit. They added his loss is something we struggle with every single day. In a statement, they said he was a beloved partner, dad, son, brother and uncle who was cherished by everyone who knew him. Said on the day he was taken from Michael, had spent time helping his mum with their car, something he always did willingly, as helping family meant everything to him. Later, he went out for a walk, likely to try and beat his dad in their daily step count competition and possibly to practice his drone flying skills, walking around a park where he spent many a day, a park full of fond family memories. What began as a normal day tragically ended in heartbreak when he met an unimaginable evil. The tragedy is the result of a senseless and callous act by individuals with complete disregard for human life. While we hope justice will prevail, no amount of justice will ever bring Michael back or ease the pain of his loss. We are deeply grateful to the police and the CPS for their dedication and efforts in investigating Michael's death. Our heartfelt thanks also go to the officers who have supported us with compassion throughout the investigation and during the trial. We remember Michael for the love, kindness and light he brought into our lives, and his memory will live on in the hearts of all who knew and loved him. Rest in peace, Michael. Detective Inspector Phil Pooley from the West Midlands Police Homicide Team said what happened to Michael was truly awful. He had been taken away in such a cruel way from a family who loved him dearly. This despicable group throughout the trial have shown no remorse for their actions. They've been pissing about in court, and instead they have acted in a disgusting manner and have put Michael's family through the pain of a trial. It's heartbreaking that Perry Hall Park was once a place where Michael and his family made happy memories together, and that's now been taken away from them. I know this sentence will not bring Michael back, but I do hope that knowingly they will spend years in prison and it will bring some closure to his family. Once again, I just want to say rest in peace, Michael, and my condolences go out to your family.